Sometimes we must live through the darkness in order to see the light. We must visualize.
Hey everyone, this week I'm going to talk about how I met my husband Josh, because it was not in the traditional way that most people meet their spouses. Give you some background about my dating life. I didn't really have one all through high school. I never dated anyone. Had my first boyfriend after my mission at the age of 22, my first kiss at the age of 22, and before Josh I only ever kissed two guys, and I got married when I was 26. So when I moved out on my own, I joined a few dating websites, and they were LDS dating websites, LDS Mingle at the time, and didn't really find anything. I was on it for years, went on a couple dates, nothing. So I quit. So after my mission, after my first boyfriend broke up with me, my mom signed me up for LDS Singles, and she actually paid for my account because she was desperate to get me married or something. Ask her. So I was on there for another couple years, had a few dates, talked to a few guys, ended up meeting one guy, and on the date he brought his mom and his brother, just some really weird guys out there. I even really liked this one guy, and we were talking for a couple months, and once I told him that I had my knees replaced and my hip replaced, he actually completely dropped me, stopped talking to me, everything. And that was really hard, and as I said in my last video, there are some really shallow guys in this world. So that made me change my introduction, and I changed my introduction pretty much to say, hey, I've got fake knees, I've got a fake hip. If you can't deal with that, don't even bother contacting me. When my mom found out about this, she's like, you're not going to get any guy. And I'm like, well, I don't want to get hurt again with people who aren't willing to put up with my issues. So when I was really struggling with depression, I almost left the church, and I was just about to give up on everything. I got a blessing from my dad that said, keep with your online friendships and keep with your online relationships and all of that. And I was kind of like, okay, so here I am about to quit my online dating site, and was told specifically in a blessing to stay on it. I also went to the temple that night with my sister, and just everything kind of turned around that night, and I decided, okay, I'm going to start going back to church and start doing the things I need to do. Couple of days later, like even the next day, I got a message from this guy in Australia, and he asked me about my knees because he himself had several knee surgeries, and he just wanted to know about me. And my introduction is what really drew him to me. The night we started talking, I went on a date with a guy from Calgary, and I ended up texting this guy from Australia the whole night, and it was really weird. I just felt this connection with him, and I remember going to my friend Brittany's house at night and going, you know, there's this guy from Australia that's contacting me, and we're emailing each other and all of that, but it's like a fairy tale, you know. He's in Australia, it's never going to happen. And Brittany's like, well, just go for it, see what happens from there. So Josh and I ended up exchanging Facebook, exchanging Skype, and we ended up just talking. And we started talking every day, a couple times a day, and you can imagine how difficult that is with the time difference. Found out Josh had two kids from a previous marriage, and when I saw pictures of his boys, I fell in love immediately with his boys. I think even before I fell in love with Josh himself. So things got really serious really quickly with Josh, and I remember my mission president saying before I left, saying, when you meet the right person, it'll be all green lights. And with Josh, it was all green lights. I was in my last year of university in Lethbridge, and it was the beginning of the first semester, and I was going through kind of a hard time. I just started talking to Josh, and found out my grandfather died, and Josh really helped me get through that. And one thing I remember Papa saying to me before he died was, is this guy a member? And I said, yeah. He's like, well, as long as you get married in the Cartson Temple. And I was like, okay, because everyone else was kind of freaking out because I was dating this guy online. So made plans with Josh that I was going to come visit him in reading week, which was February. But after the death of my papa, and I took that really hard and how serious things were getting with Josh, I ended up dropping out of school. So this was September, and I planned on coming out to Australia in December. So December, I came out for 1 week. Not a long time when you're crossing the world, but it was such an amazing week. I remember Josh telling me, "I'm going to kiss you when I first meet you," and I was like, this is really weird. Funny story, when I got to Australia, got to the airport, I actually got through customs really quickly because it is another Commonwealth country and I'm a Canadian, so it got through really quickly. I remember coming out of the gates and looking for Josh, and I'm like, he's not here. And that was my biggest fear, coming across the world to meet this guy. My family had already contacted the bishop and all that in case Josh and I didn't work out. I'd have someone to stay with, something to do when I was here. So I called him on my phone, very expensive phone call, and I was like, I'm here, where are you? He was actually out buying me flowers. He didn't think I would have made it through customs that quickly. So that week went really well, and we talked about marriage, and I met the boys, and we decided, hey, we're going to get married and we're going to do this. So went home, had Christmas, and then went back out again in February, and Josh and I got engaged on my 10th rebirthday. Rebirthday is 10 years since my stem cell transplant, so it was really special for me. And so we got engaged here in Melbourne, and we ended up getting married in Canada, but at the Carson Temple in June. So started talking in August of 2010. We got married in June 2011. Very quick. A lot of people, my own family included, didn't think we would make it. But when it's right, it's right. And everything worked out so well. For some reason, money came out of nowhere that was able to get me over here to be able to buy rings and things like that. And I just knew immediately that Josh was the one for me. And we've been married 5 years now, and it's been great. We have our ups and downs, as any married couple does, but I love him. I found my soulmate, my other half, and he accepts me for who I am. He loves me for who I am and everything I've been through, and he doesn't put up with my crap. I guess it's what I needed in life, someone to rein me back and make sure I do live my life. So I'm going to get him to share his story, and I'm going to share that as well. I'll get him to do it next. So yeah, next week, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to be talking about yet. I might just talk about some of the people who have made a big impact in my life, and see you next week.
Sometimes we must live through the darkness in order to see the light. We must visualize